Today we're gonna be recapping the games that everyone has been waiting for. So the third day of the SG World Cup, and this time we have Group A action. Finland against the United States, as well as Canada against Sweden. So the top 4 nations in the tournament and their first appearances in the entire tournament. I am a little bit bummed about the fact that I am recording this a little bit late, as these games were played on Saturday. I'm recording this on a Tuesday just because I just haven't had the time. I mean, here we saw Finland with a nice opportunity, but if you don't know, obviously this tournament is played totally online, meaning that every single game when we have North Americans and Europeans playing each other, as there's the first goal of this series and USA's up 1-0 pretty early on. But basically, because we're playing this online, every single series is 2 games. So each team gets a home and an away game. And as you can see, USA in those dark jerseys, they're playing home first. And obviously, it's a huge advantage when you're on your home server in these games. So no surprises here in game 1. USA off to a really good start early on. But here towards the end of the period, Finland actually gets a nice opportunity there on that little one-timer, but Finland is not able to score here towards the end of the period, and we head to the intermission, as there was, I already forgot, Finland also had a breakaway right there to end the period, so a couple of opportunities in their away game. But one thing to say about these games is that obviously we knew going into the tournament that home ice advantage was going to be huge, but honestly, I was maybe expecting it to be an even bigger factor, as there Finland once again had a breakaway, but they couldn't score. So obviously before the tournament, it was a little bit of a question mark if this tournament would even make any sense, or would the games just end 10-0 every time. But that does not seem to be the case. Obviously, as you can see from the gameplay here, USA does have the majority of chances in this game, but huge saves, a lot of X playing in net for Finland in this game. And it's only 2-0 here. USA gets the third one. We're halfway through the game. It's 3-0, but even looking back at this game, it could have been a little bit more even. Here we actually see what could have been probably goal of the tournament. Look at that little back skate, goes between the legs, somehow goes in, but that one's just gonna be waved off by the ref. But look at that, Cosmic EA for USA, nasty move, puts it in, but luckily for Finland, that one doesn't count. This is the sort of things I honestly did not expect to be even possible. Look at this passing play, all the way starting the play from their defensive zone. Finland, they start passing it around, and you just have to remember, they are all on 100 ping. Like, if you play NHL and you've ever played on 100 ping compared to what these guys are used to in Finland, they're all used to 10 or less ping. It's great to see, though, that even on these higher pings, we get to actually see some pretty good games. There again, Finland almost had a goal, a wraparound as well. They did everything they could to make this game a close one. Another thing you have to remember in this Group A, goal differential is another thing they're playing for. It's not just about the win. So if you lose a game by, let's say, a few goals, but then you're able to beat the same opponents, let's say with 5 goals in the next game on your home server, that's already really good considering the standings, because if teams end up tied in points, then the goal differential will be the deciding factor. As here, USA was finally able to get their 4th off the game on the power play. But hey, towards the end of the game, here 5 minutes left, Nick Dangles starts cooking, and Finland does get 1 goal. Here's the final goal of the game. USA last minute goal on the power play. But yeah, 5-1, your final score in game number 1. And then here in game 2, Finland early on already almost scores. And just moments later, Vattu here snipes that top corner. And Finland were off to a really strong start here. Then here, still in the first period, Finland gets another one, so they're up 3-0. So a big thing for them to just pile on those goals. As here it is. That one somehow bounces in. But then after this, Team USA, they were also able to get on the board in their away game. In this one, Finland is able to get a couple of more goals here though. Nikke Dangles, the hat trick. They get just one more goal as just look at this once more. Just look at this. Nikke. That's an unreal little half spin and tucks it 5-hole. But yeah, Finland ends up winning 7-1 in the second game. So there we see the results. 5-1 on USA server, 7-1 on Finland server. And just based on the scores, you would think, yeah, home ice advantage is massive. But as we will see very soon, there has been some other results as well. On Saturday, we had another matchup between Canada and Sweden. And game 1, they were playing on the Canadian server. And how would I say this? You know the show Survivors? Like, I think Sweden was on that show, on this game. Let's just say Canada was pretty all over Sweden in this one. Though you do gotta give credit to McSavidas right there as well. What a save from the guy in Sweden's net. But then Dumoulin scores his first goal of the game, a little one-timer from the point. And he was also just completely on fire in this game, as here's Sweden's first opportunity of the game, but the goal in Canada's end also playing good here to start the game. Here we see another just massive save from McSavid in Sweden's net. And then here, yeah, Dumoulin scores his second, and he actually ends up scoring a hat trick in this game as a defenseman. Yeah, this is the goal. A little backskate from behind the net, puts it 5-hole. And I mean, what a game. You're a defenseman. You score 3 of your first 4 goals for your team. As I said, this game was pretty rough for Sweden, but they do end up getting 1 goal here. Sebbe puts it in. Last goal of the game scored. Oh, actually, that one wasn't the goal, but right after, yeah, Loco Krusty puts it in, and the first game ends with the score of 7-1. So into game 2 we go. And early on, it was actually the Canadians putting on a couple of shots on goal, which obviously you do not expect on these away server games. I don't think these teams have really practiced on the away server, as here, actually, there's a penalty shot in this game where Sweden is on the home server, but unfortunately for the Canadians, they're not able to score from this one. But very impressive performance, especially by the Canadians here. They scored the first goal of the game. Like I said, anyone who plays this game and has tried to play it on 100 ping knows that it's a struggle. They're Fury, and a little bit of a weak goal to tie the game up for Sweden. But yeah, it's interesting to see that even at the very start of the tournament, like in these first games for Canada, they were actually able to somewhat compete on the away server. And obviously, I'm really hoping that, as there's the goal for Sweden, gives them the lead. Lehmann ends from the point, joins the rush, and gets them on the board. But yeah, obviously, I'm really hoping that once these teams are a little bit more used to the ping, that we'll actually, come playoff time, we'll maybe be able to see more games that are just a little bit more even, you know? I won't spoil yet what happened on Sunday, which is the next video that I'm gonna be recording, but let's just say we already saw some pretty close games between these 4 teams as they played in their second games. But here, look at this. Canada 2-2 on the away server. But honestly, this game, just look at the clock. Under 5 minutes to go, it was still tied. And it was really looking like maybe Canada is able to push this into overtime. But obviously, now that I said that, you already know what's going to happen here. 45 seconds left. And Sweden, not just yet, but here, Sebbe Larsen actually loses the puck, and Antoni Amanen is behind him and puts it into the net. So Sweden does end up saving themselves, and they do end up getting those 3 points. So after day 1 between these 4 teams, we saw all 4 of them at 3 points each. We already did see a game where Canada was almost able to get points from Sweden on the away server. And as I said, I won't spoil what happened on the next day of this tournament, but I will say this group got way more interesting on the next day. Apologies for the fact that this video is quite a bit late, but I will try to record the next ones very quickly here, as I'm 2 game days behind schedule. I haven't been able to record these videos. But stay tuned for the next one, as we have a ton of games on that next video, because on Sunday, the day after these games were played, we had 7 matchups in total. So a lot of action, and that also includes games like Sweden against the USA, as well as Finland against Canada, so you do not want to miss that. And with that, I'll thank you for watching, and stay tuned for the next one. I'll try to post it as soon as possible.